So I got some bad news and I got some good news for you guys. The bad news is I have officially retired my Zacian V deck. I love Zacian V. It's a fun deck. It's a risky deck to play, but it's just not really competitively viable anymore. So my new deck that we are going to be using in today's Pokemon card tournament is the Dragapult VMAX deck. Now I actually came in second place last week at this local tournament at Manta Trading last Friday out of 24 people. So second out of 24 is really good. And my only loss was to the guy who came in first place. And that was a really, really close game. So he absolutely deserved the win because he kicked my butt. He did some really cool combos that I've never seen before. So yeah, in today's vlog, we're heading over to Manta Trading's new location in Markham, which is just on the cusp of Toronto. Like, it's literally way more closer to me than it used to be. Before, it used to take me like an hour to hour 20, hour 30 to get to by bus. Now, it takes me like 15 minutes by bike, or like a 10-minute bus ride and then some extra. Way more accessible than before if you're from Toronto to attend these tournaments. Is every Friday, and we're gonna show you guys the store, show you guys the space, how awesome, how clean and how beautiful it is over there. I love it. And we also have to buy some new Pokemon items over there too, which we're gonna unbox on the channel this weekend. Dragapult VMAX was a really good meta call, and I took out all the horror energies, the special energies, right before the tournament, and it turned out it was a really good call too, because Whimsicott was super popular, and my deck just plays basic energies. So, with that said, we're gonna head over to Manta Trading right now, and we're going to magically be there. So, yeah, see you guys at Manta Trading in just a sec.
Salt on my skin, pull me closer, right in, I think about all of it. The city to sunset, we'd sit, talk about everything. Now I can't sleep without you by my side. You are the best part of me, and I can't deny now I'm just someone I don't even recognize. It go back, but I'm trying to, 'cause I'm not me without you.
So there was your look at Manta Trading's new location. Just a quick little preview. I gotta say, they nailed it. I love the new location, and it is an extra gravy on top, or extra cherry on top, I should say, with how easy and accessible it is to get to for me now. So yeah, come through to their locals Friday nights. And with that said, let's start off with game number one. We have my Dragapult VMAX deck squaring off against a Raichu V deck. Very first time playing against a Raichu V deck, and this was an off-meta week, so it was gonna be like a pretty much a lot of rogue decks, a lot of fun decks. No S tier, A tier meta decks were pretty much allowed for the most part because you just want to get prizing. But yeah, good practice for my Dragapult deck against some non-meta decks. The point of the Raichu deck is to charge up your side of the field with the Fluffy to be able to pull off some big 1-hit KO attacks or some big attacks every single turn with the Raichu, or use the Raikou V on the bench as well as an alternate attacker. Now, this was a really interesting match because I've never played against a Raichu deck before, so I had to tread very carefully. And it was a really, really close matchup. There was points in the game where I had game next turn twice in a row, but he marted me back-to-back turns, and that Marnie set my combos back hugely. And the enemy, I believe his name is Jerry, he ended up taking the W, so I have a round one loss. On to round number two. I ended up getting a bye, which if you don't know what a bye is, basically you get a free win for the round. Basically, you don't have an opponent. So I did my shopping, and they also blessed me with some jumbo cool cards and some really cool promos too. The stained glass window and the EV Max are super, super nice. And then someone had their binder out on the table, and I asked if I could take a look at them and check out all these Jinx cards, man. They had so many Jinx cards, and yeah, they just had a lot of really cool, unique Pokemon cards as well. So I figure while we are in this buy round, I just show you guys all the cool cards, or just a large chunk of the cool cards in their binders. So yeah, here's a little look at their binder. So there's a look at a random customer's binder that they brought in. I'm thinking about doing like a weekly feature in these tournament vlogs showcasing people's binders, and if they want to like drop their IG and stuff like that, if you guys want to trade with them, I'll leave them linked down below and all that kind of good stuff. So might be a segment I do. And yeah, someone actually bought a Shining Fates Elite Trainer box in the store and pulled the Charizard VMAX, the shiny Charizard VMAX, which is amazing. Anyways, on to game number 2. Now for round 3, game number 2, my opponent had a really cool mat, so I just wanted to showcase their playmat as well. It had a bunch of really different, unique Pokemon on it, not something you see very often, and it's the very first time I've ever seen a playmat look like this, so really cool, shout out to them. So I did really like the mat that they used, however, I really hated the deck that they used against me, because Dragapult V and Dragapult VMAX, of course, are a Psychic type Pokemon, Ghost type Pokemon, and the weakness is Dark, and the enemy chose a Umbreon V deck. Yeah. Usually they play like a single strike Urshifu, however they just swapped those out, made it pretty much a full Umbreon deck, and I absolutely got my cheeks clapped. I had really no hope whatsoever. They got set up really easily the first game, which is yeah, we lost the very first game. I got beat so fast I said, yo, let's play another one, let's run it back. So we did, and it got clapped again. So yeah, I was not expecting to fight really too many dark decks this day, but shout out to the enemy who beat me, and he was really cool about me taking my time filming, because I didn't realize round 3 started and he was ready to go, and the round 3 had already started, but he was chill. So shout out to him, and I hate your deck. Umbreon V and VMAX, it was diabolical. Every single time I had a Dragapult ready to go and set up, he would just evolve the Umbreon V to boss's orders my now ready to go Dragapult and one-hit KO me. My deck was just not ready and not built to compete against a dark type deck of this nature, so that was absolutely brutal. He also opened up a booster pack, and so these are the cards that they pulled. They got the Reverse Hollow Mewtwo from Brilliant Stars, I believe, and the Morpeko V, the Hangry form. And today's showing was pretty small, so it was just a 3-round tournament. However, I was still itching to get some games in, so I decided to play against another random competitor in the table area, and he opened up the brand new Arceus V figure collection box, which I'm gonna open up on the channel very soon if it's not up already on the channel, so be sure to check out that video. And I just took a look at the Alts art promo. Absolutely beautiful card. The figure looked cool, and yeah, on to game number 4, you could say, where we have my Dragapult VMAX deck fighting against their Arceus VMAX with the Arceus V-Star with the Galarian Moltres and a Hoopa, and I absolutely destroyed them. This was a really good matchup for me, not in terms of weakness. Like, I did have the weakness on their side, like they had the advantage. However, I had everything going for me perfectly. The Sobbles were falling into place, the Drizziles were falling into place, I was attaching in energy every single turn. It was one of those kind of perfect games where your deck is running as smooth as possible. You love to see it. Now on to game number 5 against the same opponent. However, this time I used my all reliable, all faithful Zacian V deck fighting against their Arceus deck once again, and this time they actually got their Jolteon out on the field, which really didn't do too much against my deck, because the Jolteon with the memory capsule shuts down all water type Pokemon's abilities. This deck I use, the Zacian deck, does not use any water type Pokemon, so that felt really good, switching decks and using that to my advantage, and I ended up getting a really easy dub again, back to back, and the Zacian V was just slapping, man. That Brave Blade for 230 really does pack a punch. And now on to our very final game of the day. We have our Dragapult VMAX competing against a Togekiss deck, which I was not expecting to ever see in person, and this matchup was actually really close. It was really interesting playing against a Togekiss deck. It kind of had like a control stall kind of feel to it. It was like a slow playing kind of deck, which basically you use the Sharon's Care to pick up your damaged Togekiss, and you just rinse the cycle again and again. And I pretty much had game in the bag. However, the game, he never played a single power energy the entire time, and so the one time he did was the turn he won. He played it and smacked me for for enough to knock out my Dragapult VMAX and take 3 prize cards. So they ended up taking the very last game a W. So it was, it stayed competitive at the very end. So yeah, shout out to them. So that's going to wrap up today's tournament vlog. If you guys made it to the end, comment down below what deck you're currently playing at the moment, and if there's a deck you're being eyeing to try out when it comes to Astral Radiance releasing at the end of this month. I know there's quite a few I want to build, so I'll be sure to make a video about that. But with that said, hit that like button down below and subscribe. I'll have more tournament vlogs on the way, and you guys can click on screen right now to watch another tournament vlog or another Pokemon video on my channel. With that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.